Hello everyone, it's Nick Peters here, the gaming theologian, ready to guide you on another mission of faith in Christianity as we continue Metroid Zero Mission. Okay, well, last time we were here, we defeated Mother Brain and then found out that's not the end of the story. So this is all new territory to me, definitely. So let's see what happens here. I wonder if I can defeat this guy, or if I'm supposed to. I think I should go with... No, I can't defeat him. Well, maybe I can. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today was... I was talking with someone Saturday, and we were talking about favorite Bible verses, and they told me theirs was in Luke 4, the passage about Jesus going into a synagogue and making the proclamation about who he is. Now, I'd like you to imagine that you lived in the time of Jesus, and let's say you didn't know who Jesus was when you went, and you go into the synagogue, and you're just expecting a regular day of synagogue worshiping, where someone comes in and they read the text, which, yeah, that's what generally happened. And then, when they get done reading, they say, hey, this text here, yeah, I'm the fulfillment of this text. What kind of person do you have to be to think that you're reading something in the Old Testament and saying, hey, this is about me? And I don't mean something like saying that you're a sinner in need of repentance. Yes, that is about you. But a grand passage about being the fulfillment of Scripture, that you are the one anointed by God to speak that way, that you are the one who is going to set the captives free. And yet, this is what is said about Jesus. Jesus gets up here and says, hey, that's me. I think we need to really consider that. And when you read the text, the audience at the time was shocked. And rightfully so. They should have been. But you know what's really tragic is while they were shocked, we're not. That we look at this and we just think, yeah. Gosh, this is a whole lot harder than it should be. We've gotten so used to Jesus that I don't think we really see the impact of his words anymore. And we look and say, yeah, okay. We look at, for instance, the Sermon on the Mount and say, wow, that's a really good sermon Jesus gave. We don't stop and consider, what's Jesus really saying in this sermon? That there was a Jewish New Testament scholar named Jacob Neusner who says that if he was up there and he heard someone saying, well, you've heard what Moses said, but I say to you, he would look at us and say, "Hey, hey, hey, here. Yes, this is what Moses said. You think you're bigger than Moses? You think you're greater than him? Who do you think you are? You think you're God or something?" And the answer is yes, he does. Jesus says, "I am the one who is authorized to tell you the truth about what Moses said." I thought I had it that time. Everything Jesus did really was revolutionary to his contemporaries, and we've lost that. We've tamed Jesus so much that he's no longer a surprise to us. Let's see if I can drop down and stun this guy. Did it. Jesus, we've kind of domesticated the line of Judah, as it were. We may it's that what he says, it's, well, he says it, but he's Jesus. If anyone else spoke the way Jesus did, we would think they were a total narcissist or deluded entirely, and we would be right for thinking that way. Jesus did things that we should be stunned by, and we're not. Because we've heard them so long, we think they're just perfectly normal things to say. Uh, we we haven't allowed the text to really surprise us at all anymore. We look at Jesus and say, well, yeah, but he's Jesus, so of course he's going to speak that way. Jesus should be a stunning figure to us. Jesus was such a threat at the time to the people that they had to crucify him to deal with him. And I mean, consider that this was, they didn't just want him dead, they wanted him shamed, mocked, humiliated, everything. Jesus was stunning to his people. Why are we not stunned anymore? Is it because we've heard the stories so much that they no longer resonate with us? I mean, I tell you on every episode as part of my fun that I affirm the virgin birth. But have you all stopped and considered what that means? That yes, Jesus was born of a virgin. Sometimes we get so busy defending our faith against atheists and others that we don't really realize how shocking what we believe is. And we should. We don't really let things stun us anymore. We treat Christianity like it's normal. Yes, our faith is rational. Yes, it makes sense. Yes, there's good evidence for it. But we need to realize also, it's something stunning too. And when we don't realize this, we don't realize what it is that we really have in Christianity. We have something that turned the world upside down, literally. Christianity was the most revolutionary, amazing system that ever came along. It's something so powerful that 2,000 years later, our world is still transformed by it. We don't really have the idea that, like we should, of how much Christianity changed the world. But it did. This little ragtag movement from a bunch of Galilean fishermen is what turned everything around. So much so that we name our kids Peter and Paul, and we name our dogs Nero and Caesar. Really think about how stunning that is. And when we dialogue with people who are Jehovah's Witnesses, for instance, we don't think about what it means to say the second person of a Trinity came down. I like to say about the doctrine of the Trinity that Christians just don't really do anything with the doctrine except where we get it out of the box whenever Jehovah's Witnesses come by so we can intellectually beat them up. The Trinity is our birthright. It should be something that we marvel at constantly, and we don't. We have something totally unique in how we see God that is not found in any other religion. And what do we do with it? Nothing. We are no longer stunned by Christianity. We have become way too familiar with it. I'm starting to think the only thing that can cure these things is one of their own. Maybe that's right. We we kind of in many ways treat God like he's normal. And God is wholly different from everyone else, everything else. Whatever your doctrine of God is, it is inadequate. You have no idea of who God is in Himself. We really need to replace the way we think about God. We try to make Him someone we can understand. We have a sort of concept of buddy Jesus, as it were, that we often say, what a friend we have in Jesus. We don't treat him like our king anymore. When you're reading the words of Jesus now and looking at the life of Jesus, really stop and think about how incredible it is and just think, yes, this really happened. I've told you all the story before about Roger Maxson, who was teetering on the verge of atheism. Wow, and then he reached out to me, and it was exhausting for a while helping him work through his issues. But I stood by him, told him what to read, made him do the work also. And one day I go to my computer and I see an email from him, and it just says on it, the subject line, Jesus of Nazareth. I'm bracing myself here as what's going to come now. What objections does he have now? Instead, I see one line pretty much in there. It says, he really did walk out of that grave, didn't he? Yeah. Yeah, he did walk out of that grave. And we need to be shocked by that. We need to realize a man came down, faced death, and overcame it. Wait, my controller just loves to run to the left for some reason. Seriously, it's like some kind of defect I've got with my system here or something. Gotta get to a save point. Gotta be a save point somewhere around here. Jesus is just the most incredible man who ever lived. So much so that it's even hard to say something like that about him because he's the man who lives. Still, we can't place anyone else in that category of lived 2,000 years ago and still lives today, at least in the same way. I mean, I'll grant you that people who die, they still exist in some way, but they don't live like Jesus does. Jesus is different. Yeah, I think a lot of our anti-Trinitarianism and things like that, it comes in a way because we want to rationalize Jesus and God. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go and say that God is irrational or something of that sort. He's not. But I am going to say that we need to realize that while he does not go against logic or anything like that, he definitely there's that thing. I was wondering where it was. He definitely goes above it. That we cannot fully understand the nature of God at all, and we try, and so many people who struggle with the Trinity, I think it did because they said, well, God has to be someone I can understand. He has to fit into my categories. He doesn't, and he won't. Like C.S. Lewis said about Aslan, you cannot tame him. God will not fit neatly into your categories at all. The moment we try and make him fit, we're going to come across many, many errors. That's honestly where heresy begins. It's trying to say God has to fit into our categories. So I'm not going to say God contradicts logic. Of course not. But he does go above it. The Trinity is not a contradiction, but the nature of God is something that we cannot understand fully. We never will. It's a fool's game to try. If you serve a God you can understand, you don't serve the real one. And if you can't accept that, that's going to be on you. Whew. This sure leaves you tense. But you avoided. Thank you that that does not come all the way down. Just gonna wait for this thing to come down. I don't want to risk Samus's hair getting caught in here. So far, so good. Well, so much for that. I think my controller has some sort of jam where it wants to go to the left a lot more than it should. Okay, it looks like we have to go to the top one here. Okay, somehow there has to be a way out of here. It's always the most obvious way, isn't it? Just keep running. Don't look back. Don't look back. I'm remembering even something that Peter Kraft once said that, and this is a problem we've got in our scientific age. He said, the great fault of the ancients was that they worshipped the sun, moon, and stars. Our great fault is we're not even tempted to. We've looked at everything and said, oh yeah, this is what that is. And we made a sort of scientific reductionism of everything. This isn't to say that scientific discoveries have been a bad thing. They haven't. But we look at it and think, oh, well, since we know that is, we understand it, so there's no need for it to really impress us anymore. And it should. It should impress us greatly every day that even in our very bodies exist numerous little machines, essentially, and we have no shock over this. Nothing. We look and say, yeah, of course. What else would it have been? I mean, you look at some videos of the inner workings of a cell, and it's incredible. And I don't care how you think it came about, if it was fiat creation or if it was uh, theistic evolution or anything like that. Either way, can we all agree what God did is incredible in that? That the way He created our universe is amazing. I mean, here I'm going through this game, and yeah, I'm not going to deny what we have here is amazing. But any fictional world we create, it's just thinking God's thoughts after Him. We cannot think of something He did not think of first. That God knew about Metroid Zero mission from the foundation of the Earth. Oh, this is new. Nothing we've done has surprised Him. He hasn't looked at anything we've made and said, wow, why didn't I think of that? Hmm. Yeah, I hope I'm going to. Okay, it looks like there's going to be kind of a sort of. Is this some sort of boss battle here? Yeah, I don't even really know for sure what's going on here, just that it's very interesting. I'm starting to see a pattern show up here, though, I think. Whew, that was tense. And I hope that's the end of it. Well, that looks familiar. And the new beam, the plasma beam, and the gravity suit, and the space jump. Nice. No power bombs. Hey guys, remember me? It sure is a lot easier now. I say that music hearing at this point, the return to the old music after getting the suit back, that is so good to hear. It's one reason I love games so much because there's so much exploring, so much story, and so much nostalgia built into all of this. And we're going to make sure that we explore everything here. With a space jump, Samus can jump more than once here, and it seems to be a whole lot easier than it is in a lot of other games. Yeah, it's not so fun, is it, guys, when your opponent can fight back, right? But part of me is wondering, but why was this there? Why is this Chozo history here? Why, if the space pirates captured Samus, why would they take her here? Huh, stuff doesn't even bother me now. The thing is, once you study philosophy, you really learn to ask a lot of questions about things that you probably never would have before. Yeah, go ahead and tell them all that I'm here. Don't really care. Okay, so power bombs, I'm sure, have to be somewhere around here. I would have thought that after they seen enough of their guys blown to smithereens, they probably decided they didn't want to come here, but I guess not. Those things do still pack a punch, though, so we have to be very careful about them. Yeah, I thought there was something different here. Ooh, nice. And once again, just so you all know, I am not looking any of this stuff up online. I think I'll go up in order to get, if I can. Yeah, I think I'll go up in order to get to that save point there. You know, it'd be nice if there was also an X-ray visor like there was in Super Metroid. I don't know if that might show up later, but it sure would help things out here. You notice that enemies aren't really dropping a lot of things either. That's pretty interesting. I'm not getting any power-ups or anything like that from them. So I guess we have to go this way in order to proceed. before I go where I should, let's just check and see if there's anything over here. I certainly hope the save point refills all my energy. Yeah, guys, this was a lot of fun today. My plan is to come back probably Wednesday and do this more, but I urge you go back to the Gospels and look at Jesus and be astounded by him. That's going to do it for me for now. I'm Nick Peters, a gaming theologian. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.